Hello and welcome to Front Row Racing. It's Friday night, which means it's time for the Front Row Racing PCF, the Project Cars Fridays League. And tonight is going to be one hell of a race, potentially. We're on for 41 laps of the Azure circuit, known by most people as Monaco, in the LMP2s. So this is going to be a challenge and a half for all of the drivers this evening, and potentially even a challenge for the PlayStation Network, which hopefully it won't be too much of, but you never know with Project Cars as of late. So we'll just have to see how we get on. Now, just having a look, I'm fairly sure we've just had Farfborough's joined us, and so has Neo Tig, but we're ready to send them over to the racetrack. Should obviously introduce myself though. I'm from a Racing DP, I'll be doing the commentary, and joining me in the commentary box this evening is from a Racing RI. Are you all set and ready for this one, Ray? Apart from having to send an invite to whoever just got disconnected.
Yeah, have you still got your PC going?
No, it's off now.
Oh, it's starting to go red.
Yeah, if you're on about the symbols at the edge of the circuit there, yeah, quite a few of them are red, but no, the only thing that is on my internet is the PlayStation 4. Now, we do know that Project Cars has been struggling a lot over the last couple of weeks, but I do know, I've seen on the Project Cars forums that they have actually confirmed that they are in discussions with Sony about the disconnections that have been happening on Project Cars of late, and it would appear that Sony have suggested to Project Cars that it is a problem on Sony's end. But we'll have to wait to see about that one. F1 Codemasters, they have also done a similar thing. They have said that they have spoken to Sony and a similar situation. We get to the circuit here and there's hardly anyone at the track because that's what happened last Sunday, but we'll see how we get on. As is the FRR way, we don't like to just give up at the first hurdle. Now, Ray, 41 laps around the Azure circuit, around Monaco. It's difficult in any car. How do you reckon the guys are going to get on in these LMP2s around here? Are you there, Ray?
That helps if I take my mic off, mate.
It does, yeah, it does. Otherwise it makes me think I'm sat here talking to myself. I don't
know. Should be good, as long as the drivers have checked out the track and found out what I found out. Because it could get a wee bit
Well, do you want to tell us what? Do you want to tell us what you found out, or do you want to leave it secret?
I want to wait till the race.
Okay.
I want to wait till the race.
Ray, can you make sure you send Neotig another invite, please, mate? Although it does say that he has just joined, so hopefully Neotig is back with us. Heselden looks like he's the first out onto the track. So while he's making his way around this circuit, I'm going to quickly go through the race result from last week. It was a very difficult event for a few of the drivers. Dave the Harp took the victory, took the maximum 25 points, with Kay Slay finishing in second place, getting 20. Richie Davey finished third, got 16 points. Stringy B finished fourth, got 13 points. Then Neo Tig on 11 points. Azamor got 10 points. And then Heselden, Woolhouse, Leelmo McElroy, Andy Russell, Driver Montana and James Hulkenberg did not finish. So for the standings, that means that Dave the Harp is leading the standings by 10 points. He's got 132 and James Hulkenberg has only got 122. Then we've got Heselden with 106, who was in position to win last week's race until a disconnection came his way. Neotig is in fourth on 67 points. And then we have Mulryan on 51, who may not be racing again this season, wants to get back into doing F1. Duo Finn is on 45 points with K-Slay on 40 and Woolhouse on 32. Richie Davey on 16. Driver Montana on 15, who can't make it this evening. Andy Russell on 13. Stringy B on 13. Leelmo McElroy on 11, who also can't make it this evening. Then we've got G1990 Jonesy on 10, Azamort on 10, GT5 King on 9, and that pretty much rounds out those points. Now, 15-minute qualifying session we've got for the drivers here, then a 5-minute warm-up, and then a 41-lap race. We've no idea what the tyres are really going to do around this circuit. We don't even know what kind of lap times we're going to be getting, do we, Ray? Or have you managed to get some insider information?
No, Hulkenberg and Dave the Hart, they just don't read their messages anymore.
Either that or they're wanting to keep it hush-hush. Quiet. Maybe they've gone into right, let's go secret mode, because every time we say what kind of lap times we can do, we don't get near them, or we do, but Hesselden goes and beats us. Now Hesselden looks like he's been on a fairly decent lap here, and I would expect him to be up there or thereabouts on the front row of the grid when this qualifying session comes to an end. But we'll have to wait and see. As he crosses the line and goes first with a 1:29.578. Farfber has joined us for the LMP2 race here this evening. He will have not had any practice, and it shows there as he's just had a bit of a crash. Duo Finn, he's coming around the final corner now and heading up to the finish line. He's a driver who could do very, very well here in Monaco. Although it's not showing me what his lap time is. I'm just looking at the straight at the moment. It says he's down in 5th place. Maybe that's because he's sat in the pit lane. Hesselden's been bumped down to 3rd place. James Hulkenberg, he's just gone and done a 1:26.7. K-Slay, a 1:28.2. Oh, Hulkenberg, I think he's just clipped the barrier, but he's going for another lap. Not anymore. He's just spun it. That's him back to the pits then. So K-Slay's in 2nd place on a 1:28.2, going around what I call Lowe's hairpin, although its real name now is the Grand Hotel hairpin. Yeah, it's still Lowe's. Through the tunnel. Now, me and you, Ray, we've been talking a little bit just about how tricky these cars could be to race around. I kind of know that you think that these will be a bit of a nightmare, as some of the drivers did, because when I told you that it's Monaco tonight, you were like, oh my God. So do you still, after we had our chat, do you still think that these cars around this track will be an absolute nightmare?
Yeah, they could be, because I was just watching people come out the pits. I don't know how the game does with coming out the pits and that, but I think it'll be a nightmare. You've got to get your setup spot on, or else if your back end's kicking out, you're going to hit the barrier. If your front end's giving you major understeer, you're just going to go straight into the barrier. So
that is true. I mean, you think it'll be a nightmare. I don't. I think, well, if the guys have got their setup kind of right, it won't be. For me, the way I see these is, these cars are very powerful and they have a lot of grip. So for me, you whack the aeros up, you raise the ride height, you soften the suspension, you lower those gear ratios, and it'll handle like a dream around here. That's what I think, if a driver gets it right. Now, Hulkenberg still sitting in pole position. K-Slay improved his time, but stayed 2nd place. Dave the Harp's about to cross the line now, currently 3rd with a 1:28.5. He's just done a 1:27.9, still 3rd place. Hesselden, he's just had a crash in the Anthony Nogues corner. That's ruined that lap. Andy Russell, he's up to 5th place with a 1:32.3. Let's see if he can improve on this lap time. Now, we don't know exactly what the weather's going to be doing here today either, but it's looking fairly nice and sunny at the moment. Let's hope it stays that way. But it's Monaco. It's a place where risks can be taken, gambles can be made, fortunes can be captured, or you can lose absolutely everything. Andy Russell improved his lap time, not his position. Azamort, he's out on track in the tunnel, currently on a 1:32.930, going through the Nouvelle chicane, and I think he's got Hulkenberg behind him, who's just having a bit of a wiggle coming out of the chicane, now giving himself a little bit of room. Is there anyone that you're watching, Ray, that looks like they're going a little bit quick? As Azamort gives the barrier a good clip in there.
I was just double checking with everybody in, because I know Neil had problems, so I was just double checking.
Neotig appears to be in the garage. He's in the pit, so he is on the track at the moment. Asamoah heading up to the finish line. Can he improve on his lap time or position? Improves his lap time, not position. So Hulkenberg, I think, has just started a new flying lap. So let's see how he's getting on, because he is the provisional pole sitter at the moment. Nicely through turn 1, not getting too close to the barrier, but you don't really want to get too close to them. Get close, yes. Hit them, no. Absolutely hammering it around Massenet into Casino. Nicely up against the barriers there. Now down to Mirabeau. Oh, the car just wanted to run wide on him. That could cost him some time. Into Lowe's. Get it slowed down. Little touch of the power. Get it turned in. And now for Portier. Got to be confident through there. Get hard on that throttle. Through the tunnel. And then it's all going to be down to how the car handles under the brakes into the Nouveau chicane. I'll tell you what. After Hulkenberg's race last week, he will want to be coming out here. Oh, and not doing that! Unlucky there, James. Unlucky. I was about to say he will be wanting to make up for last week's race, because he had a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. Lap 1, hit a barrier, hit a wall, damaged on his car, put a new set of tyres on, fixed the damage, and said it felt like he was driving on full wet tyres. And ended up retiring from the race in the very first few laps, and that cost him massively. His only saving grace was that Hesselden did not finish the race, because had he have done, he would have had a very large points gap. Now Hesselden is about to cross the finish line. I think he may have had a bit of a messy lap, but he has improved his time to a 1:28.6, so maybe the way to beat Hesselden is to bring him to Monaco. Now, Woolhouse, he's got him... Sorry, go on.
No, I've just got Dave. He's came out of the pits. I think he's went, oh, I'm going to get pushed down. I'm coming out. I'm going to try and get up there again. He's still in third place, but most of the cars are on track, so... Oh, they've got Paul who's stopped, so he's went back to the pits.
Now, Woolhouse here in 6th place. Looks like he's struggling a little bit, trying to take nice tight lines through the corners and finding there's a few barriers there. Farfborough has got himself up to 7th place, put himself ahead of Asamoah, who looks like he's on another flyer going through the swimming pool chicane. We're heading though into La Rascasse. Looks like he's slowed down a bit there. I wonder if he's just trying to give himself a bit of room to a car that may be ahead of him that perhaps he can see. Up to the finish line he goes. Did he improve? No, so he must be just setting himself up for a lap. Might have been on an out lap then. So let's see how he gets on. We've got 4.5 minutes left of the session. Ray, if you want to keep an eye on perhaps James, Dave, Hesselden, Case, Lacey, if any of them are improving their lap times.
Yeah, I'm just on Dave the Hut. He's coming round to... I'll use my F1 book for the terminal in the last corner.
Okay, well, keep an eye on him. Pop up your track map and it'll let you know if he's up on his own sectors. But Asamoah's trying to keep it nice and clean and tidy here as he heads into the hotel. You do need a bit of top speed, but you also need good grip, confidence on your brakes, because what you don't want is to hit the brakes and have the car wiggling all over the place. Confidence on the turn-in. This is where Hulkenberg crashed a few laps or a few minutes ago. And now to back, the fearsome corner. And I think he's a little too cautious through there. Swimming pool. Got to nail it through here to get the maximum out of the car. But I think for Asamoah, he'll be hoping to at least jump a couple of places in qualifying. Perhaps can't trouble pole position, but track position could be absolutely crucial around this circuit. We don't know how many pit stops the drivers will need to make. The time will tell on that one. Asamoah goes and puts himself in 5th place. Nicely done. Dave the Harp, he's leaving the pits again, Ray. Did something happen to him?
No, I think he's just made that change.
Okay.
For certain, because Hesselden done the same. he just went out in the pits, and then the next minute he was back out.
So making a few last-minute tweaks then. Now Hulkenberg, is he on a flying lap? Yes, he is, because he set a sector 1 time of a 24.3, which is a lot faster than anyone else at this moment in time. Don't know if it's better than his previous best, though. And he's got Hesselden just up the road in front of him. But at the moment, if he's had any look at the timing screen, he might think that Hesselden's struggling a bit around here. And we're hearing a lot of sounds of cars hitting barriers at the moment, which is not surprising around this circuit. But Hulkenberg is looking absolutely on it, I was about to say, but he's just hit the barrier. Every time I go to praise this guy, he slams it into a wall. Apologies for that noise there. Okay, K-Slay, what have you got?
Oh, he's up. He's up 100th. No, 10, sorry. I was trying to work out.
So
but I've got something to ask you. Do you think the drivers are anticipating rain because they see the heavy clouds forecast?
I don't know. I thought when I looked at the forecast, it said, well, I know on Facebook it said cloudy. Okay, Slay's gone a bit deep at the Nouvelle chicane, yep, and down the service road he goes, parks it up. That's his lap over. Now Richie Davey taking a lot of curb, taking so much curb it's made him spin it. And I thought for a moment his sponsor's name was Racket, but it's not, it says Race It. But you're right, he has got himself up to 3rd. That will bug Dave the Harp a little bit, because Dave the Harp wants to be up there 1st, 2nd or 3rd. Although maybe he'll be thinking, okay, if I can't beat Hulkenberg, fair enough. I've still got 10 points on him at the moment, but I want to beat Hesselden. He's the main... Okay, he's not leading the championship at the moment, Hesselden. Dave is, but Hesselden's been the one to beat, really. So, yeah, in answer to your question, I don't know. I have no idea what the drivers will be anticipating.
It says current weather clear, and then it's saying weather forecast heavy clouds. So,
well, if that's what you're seeing,
drivers be...
maybe that's what the little changes are for. Go out, do a few laps, perhaps get a bit more temperature in the tyres, or get a bit of temperature out of the tyres. But we've only got 25 seconds left of this session, so drivers need to be crossing the finish line very, very quickly. And Dave the Harp's going to manage to finish his lap. And can he improve, taking a very tight line to the finish line? And he can't. It's 4th place for Dave the Harp. So it looks like we're going to have Hulkenberg in pole, K-Slay 2nd, Richie 3rd, Dave 4th, Hesselden in 5th, Azamort in 6th. Wow, a bit of a turn up for the books there. Interestingly though as well, look at how many laps the drivers have done. Duofin only did the 1 lap.
Did he?
Yeah. Compare that to Hesselden, who did 5, Andy Russell, who did 6. Interesting. Okay, now it's a 5-minute warm-up session for the drivers, giving them a chance to get their pit strategies sorted out, fuel strategies, tyre strategies, perhaps even put their fuel in the car and go for a little run around the circuit.
So, what tyre pressure would you put on here? Would you put a low or a high?
It's a difficult one. I mean, to be honest, it's been a while since I've driven these cars on project cars, or driven around this track on project cars. But one of the things that the drivers have to work out is that this track, you're probably going to want a lot of downforce. That could work the tyre a lot. So that could give you tyre temperature. So you may want to reduce your tyre temperature a bit. But then you've got to think there's a lot of corners around this track, so that again is going to work the tyres a lot. It could increase the tyre temperature. But if you go too low on your tyre pressure, your tyres will be too soft. They'll move around a lot, and that will work the tyres even more and increase the tyre temperature. So you may actually want to increase your tyre pressure to give you a firmer tyre that doesn't move around as much, giving you better tyre life, better grip. It's finding that very, very fine balance. So for what I would actually do, I haven't got a clue. I don't know. I'll just give a long-winded answer instead.
You've just complicated things. I was going to put the tyre pressures in that in, and then for the 5-minute warm-up, trial that.
Oh, I think Woolhouse was just trying to get out of the way. I tell you what, I've just spotted something that I've seen on TV watching Formula 1 for many, many years, is a picture of an old Formula 1 car with a man stood next to it. Sadly, I don't know who it is. I would like to think that it's perhaps Juan Manuel Fangio or perhaps even Graham Hill, because he is Mr. Monaco. But if we get it on a camera angle, just after Ras Kass, on the inside of the barrier, you'll see a statue of an old F1 car and a man stood next to it. So keep an eye out for that one. I've only just spotted it for the first time myself, to be honest, but I think that's a nice little touch. Typical, the car I'm watching to go and have a look at it, it's just got and jumped into the pits. So Duofin, you can show us when you get round there. Okay, what would you do for tyre pressure, Ray?
Because of the turns and that, the high camber, I'd go low. Low tyre pressure. What turns Ras Kass or whatever it is? Ras
Kass is the penultimate corner. Hulkenberg's just had a bit of a crash somewhere though. Oh, and Duofin's just had a bit of a crash into turn 1, and car behind him has just collected him. Yeah, Ras Kass, it's where Andy Russell is coming up to now. It's the sort of the penultimate corner, the hairpin. Look on the inside of the barrier, a bit of a blur to see the old car there, but it's on the right. We're down to, what, a minute, 20 seconds to go before the drivers really have to get themselves prepared for what lies ahead. 41 laps. Oh, and Andy's just done what Duofin's done. I mean, you mentioned about the tyre pressure, temperature. Tyre temperature around here will be crucial, because if your tyres are too hot, you're not going to have grip, you're going to hit the barrier. If your tyres are too cold, you're not going to have grip, you're going to hit the barrier. So it doesn't matter if you get it wrong, either way you're going to be in trouble. You get it right and you'll love it. But what'll be here's a question for you though, Ray. These guys can use a hard compound, a medium compound, or a soft compound, I believe. So what do you go for? It's Monaco. You stick a hard compound on and just go and go and go as long as they will last. You never know, they may do 41 laps. If other cars have got a pit, you could gain on them hugely. If the softs will, say, only do 20 laps, okay, will a one-stop on 2 sets of softs be faster than a non-stop on the hards?
It should be, and sorry, I'm out on track and somebody just cut the chicane out the tunnel badly.
Oh, so it's you that's crashing a car that looks like Hulkenberg's around the circuit.
Yeah, I was going to try and get a screenshot of that
statue, but you've ran out of time. Oh dear. Well, trust me, viewers, the statue is there. You may have to watch the video in slow motion, but it is there, and I think that's quite a nice touch. We've only got 6-7 seconds until we send the drivers to the circuit to form up the grid. Do you want to make any predictions, Ray?
Whoever doesn't cut the pit exit, because I got a time penalty for cutting the pit exit. It said I cut the corner.
Interesting. Okay, it's time for the lights to come on. When those green ones light up, the drivers can go, and they are doing, but it looks like they've had a very, very slow start, and we'll try and get up to the front where it's going to be very, very busy on this opening lap, as Asamoah's just been given a nudge wide. I think Hesselden, he's just had a bit of a moment as well, but behind him, oh, Andy Russell and 2 white cars. It's getting very, very busy as they make their way up to Massenet.
Duofin, touching all the way up the hill.
Oh, it's collision. I think Casely's just smashed the barrier in second place. Keeping hold of second just. It's getting very, very busy as they come down into what could become a car park if anyone ends up facing the wrong way. Farfber with a sneaky move. Oh, not so sneaky anymore. I told you it could end up being a car park, and it has been. Duofin and Neotig getting caught out in that one as well. It was a sneaky attempt, it just didn't quite work. Okay, let's have a look up the front. Hulkenberg leading, got himself a bit of a gap. He needs that. Then we've got Casely in second. Dave the Harp in third. He's looking aggressive at the moment. having a look at to back, but it's not going to be on. Richie Davies in 4th place. Now, I do know he's got a love-hate relationship with this circuit. Hesselden's in 5th. Asamoah in 6th, Andy Russell in 7th, Farfborough in 8th, and then Duof in 9th, Neotig 10th, Woolhouse now down to 11th. Oh, we've got a car stationary. Hesselden's had a crash at Rascash. He's up to 4th place though. Richie Davies down to 5th. I wonder if Richie had a moment and collected him. Somebody else in the background spinning as well. It's all kicking off on lap 1 and it's going to continue on for the rest of the race. I think Andy Russell may have damage. Richie, he's having another incident. So Woolhouse must have damage then, but Richie Davey, he's up to 4th place. Hesselden's in 5th, struggling on these opening laps. He's now lost his rear wing and bodywork as well. Let's hope it doesn't affect his downforce too much, as we can hear cars clipping barriers, and we'll hear a lot of that. Oh, the car's behind though. Andy Russell trying to look up the inside. Manages to do so, but even further back. Oh, there's a bit of a dive bomb move there. It's not worked for him, and that's going to have annoyed Duof a little bit there.
Neotig.
Yeah, and Neotig as well.
Oh, Neotig got away, but Joe Finn was the worst off.
Well, while all that's kicking off up at the front, it's looking all calm and collected. Hulkenberg still opening up that gap.
Hesselden's getting over rear end.
Yeah, I know. I mentioned that a moment ago. Him and Richie Davey had a crash.
Sorry, I never heard that. Oh, the contact with Andy Russell there. Is that's
Asamoah. It is. Oh, he's give Hesselden a little bit of a nudge though. I mean, around Monaco, it's not easy to overtake. The temptation is to just try and go for moves when really it isn't on. To be honest, guys, what you're better off doing is just being careful. I don't mean being slow, just selecting where you're going to overtake wisely. You can apply enough pressure on the car ahead for them to make a mistake, and then you can overtake with ease. Hesselden needs to get away from these guys because they're kind of hurting his race. Woolhouse
pressure and Casely up at the front. Oh, I think he cut the barrier a wee bit there.
I think Woolhouse has got damage down in last place, although you did say that he has pitted, so that could be why he's quite far back. I mean, one of the things that I would like to think we'll see is if these three up at the front get close, where they choose to overtake will be calculated rather than there's a car there and a corner, I'm coming through. But you never know what will happen. It's Monaco after all. But Hulkenberg, he'll be loving this at the moment. 2 laps in, slowly opening up that gap. Oh, Casely's had a moment. He's nearly lost it. He's not going for the service road this time, but he has got a power boost penalty. That puts Dave the Harp up into 2nd place. That actually is what...
Russell's pressure on Asamoah as we come out the tunnel into the braking zone. Keep it nice and tidy. Yep. Oh, a wee bit of rear end wiggle. Get back on the power. Try and get him over the start finish line. So where would you overtake on this track?
Well, I tell you what, while we're following Andy Russell here, who is sort of all over the back of Asamoah at the moment, I would try and say, if you get a good enough run out the final corner, you can have a look into turn 1, but Andy Russell can't, he's dropped too far back. The other option is just get close at turn 1, dummy a move, get the car ahead, defending. If they defend, they'll be slow up the hill, and you can overtake up the hill into Massenet and through into Casino. Your other option then is, once you've got through these corners, you can even dummy a move into Massenet, get them out of shape through these 2 corners, get a better exit and have a look up the inside into Mirabeau here. It can be done, but you have to be careful. The hairpin, it's not even worth really going for it because it's difficult enough for one car to get through. Mirabeau 2, no, it's not worth the trouble. Portier, again, don't bother. Just concentrate on your own exit and get a good run through the tunnel. One of the best overtaking places is what I call the Harbour chicane, but it's actually the Nouvelle chicane. But you've got to be up alongside before the braking zone. And then for the rest of the lap, there's only one more place you can really attempt to overtake, and that is if you are so much faster through swimming pool that you're right behind the car ahead here and can get up alongside here and make the move up the inside. But it is a very, very risky one to go for. Okay, a look up at the front. Hulkenberg's still leading, but you know what, Ray? I think he's given a barrier a bit of a hit somewhere. His rear end's loose and Dave the Harp's catching him, and you've just spotted somebody hit something, so what was it?
Andy Russell's inside Neil Tick.
Well,
he was inside in the car. They're coming down to turn 1.
Oh, that's not going to work for Andy Russell. Oh, just manages to keep it facing the right way, but that's dropped him down to 8th. Farfber's got no, he's got no arse. He's going to find it difficult to sit down with no rear end to balance himself on. Duofin's in 10th place and Woolhouse still in 11th. But Neo Tig, can he do anything about Azamor? Hesselden, I don't know whether he's just not comfortable with the Monaco circuit or the incidents early on have sort of halted his abilities, but he's a long way off the leaders at the moment. Richie Davey, he's dropped off the back. See Casely in the distance. Casely, since his power boost penalty, has dropped off the back of Dave the Harp, but Dave the Harp is catching Hulkenberg here. This is going to get close, and if there's one thing that Hulkenberg... Go on, what did you see?
Out of the tunnel, right into the back at Azamot. Azamot got a penalty, and so did Neil Tig. Oh, that was just like breaking that.
Well, I mean, coming out of that tunnel, I mean, one of the things that I would be tempted to do is to not even follow the car in the braking zone. Just pull over to the side for when you want to hit the brakes. Because at least if you get it wrong, you're not going to wipe out the other car. I mean, for anyone that actually has watched me race, you will see me do that quite often. It might look like I'm thinking about going for an overtake, but it's actually, I'm going to pull off the racing line a little bit so that when I hit the brakes, if there is any kind of problem, I'm not going to smash into that guy and I've got time to do something about it. Also, it can often make the other driver think, are they going for a move or not? Then they can make a mistake and you can benefit on the exit of the corner. Talk about making mistakes though, Hulkenberg, he's made a couple, he has been clipping a few barriers, and Dave the Harp is really pressuring him, although he's taken a very interesting line into the Nouveau chicane, but it's going to get feisty up at the front. Have we got any battles going on elsewhere, Ray?
I'm just looking through it. Duofin's close to Paul, but it's not that close that it concern Paul.
Sorry, Dave the Harp just got really, really close to Hulkenberg and then gives the barrier a little bit of a massage.
Got a message for Chris Corr. This race will be one big destruction derby type thing. This track will show real driver skill.
That it will. And that is one of the reasons why I was absolutely devastated that from our F1 race at Monaco, YouTube didn't record my footage because I ain't going around. I'm still seething about it now 2 weeks later. But that's because Monaco is a track I absolutely adore. And when it comes to racing F1 around there probably isn't a track I would rather take a car round, an F1 car round, than Monaco. And when...
It doesn't matter if it's F1, you've done the caterings around here on this, and...
Well, that's true, yeah. I mean, even the caterings around here, I mean, that was great fun. Azamor, he's trying to slide it around Mirabeau, and it's kind of working for him. He's almost catching Andy Russell. Neotig's not too far off the back of him. Farfber now has no front end and no rear end, but you're right, Duofin is catching these guys. And if Duofin can catch them, he may have a good opportunity to overtake as Farfber gives the barrier a bit of a clipping. But I want to see this battle up at the front because it is getting close as Dave clips the barrier again.
Dave's got the fastest lap, so could he push Hulkenberg into a mistake and get past him?
He definitely could, because I mean, when you think about it from a logical standpoint, at this moment in time, Dave the Harp is only looking forwards. Hulkenberg, he's looking forwards and backwards. And once you start having to do that around Monaco, it can cost you lap time. But Hulkenberg is shown he's got the pace. He did get pole in qualifying, so he has got the speed. it's all going to be about positioning of the car. Now, I would just like to hope that Casely can perhaps get himself back into this fight and Richie Davey come along for the ride as well. Hesselden is quite some way down in 5th place, and that's probably the first time we've said that in the whole of this season. A big gap then between Asamoah in 6th, Andy Russell 7th. Farfber struggling the barriers, he's not massaging them, he's I think he's been sent a court order for harassment. Neotig is in the pits. Woolhouse is coming down the start finish. This could be close between Neotig in the pits and Woolhouse. Is it going to be close? It's not as close as it could have been. Okay, let's get back up to the front. Hulkenberg's in 2nd. Ruddy typical. I'll tell you what, he's in 2nd by quite some gap. I think he may have made a bit of a mistake somewhere, you know, Ray. Apologies, viewers, that we've missed it. Absolutely typical.
Yeah, he's caught. But 2 seconds. I can't whip round the car to see if he's got any damage at the front.
I tell you what, you might want to do though, Ray. You could always go onto his live stream if he's live streaming and rewind it a little bit, or even one of the viewers could jump onto one of their. Actually, Hulkenberg won't be live streaming. His video quality is terrible when he live streams. But now Hulkenberg's in that situation where he only has to look forwards. Really typical dodgy can't blame the cameraman for missing whatever it was that happened there. I'm sure Hulkenberg will let us know afterwards what it was. And I mentioned about Casely getting back in this fight. He will have seen that now it's Hulkenberg ahead of him and not Dave the Harp, and that gap has come down. I mean, that gap, it's a big gap now.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but could we say to Front Row Racing GP, get off the FRR account on the live chat?
Is he chatting?
He's on it.
Well, as long as he's not being rude.
Come on, it's your brother.
Yeah, that's a good point, Steve. Get off the chat, because guaranteed you'll be rude. Okay, I'm going to try and find a point to spot what this gap is. It's about 4 seconds from Dave the Harp to Hulkenberg. That gap, that's got to be Hulkenberg made a mistake kind of gap, that is.
I don't know, is he on his soft tyres? Because that said he was 1.3 seconds down in the sector time.
Well, it may be. I mean, we're nearly 10 laps into the race. If he is on the soft tyres, perhaps they are just burning up. Oh, we have got a bit of a battle going on. 10th and 11th. Ray, you keep an eye out on those leaders. See if any of them are going to sort of make any kind of headway towards the pit lane. We've seen Neotig pit, but we don't know if it was for repairs or simply for tyres. With 10th and 11th, similar looking cars. Similar looking pace at the moment as well. Oh, as Neotig gives the barrier a bit of a... I'm running out of terms. Oh, now he's just given Woolhouse a little bit of a nudge as well. Oh, Woolhouse has just clipped the barrier himself on his off his own accord there. I think for Woolhouse, this race started off very, very difficult and has not got any easier. And now he's got a car all over his gearbox trying to get past. Not sure if he's going to be able to. Woolhouse going very, very defensive, and it's not a bad idea as long as you can still make the corner, which he has done. Now Neotig, he's got a better run up the hill, but Woolhouse going defensive again. And I tell you what, Ray, I can see spots of rain on my screen. You mentioned earlier about a bit of cloud. It looks like that cloud could be bringing some wet weather with it. And to be honest, around Monaco, wet weather is something that you're really, really not going to want. For the drivers, this could just mix absolutely everything up. Asamoah in 6th place, he's catching Hesselden. That's not something I would have expected to have said, but the drivers, if they've been finding it difficult around here in the dry, they may be about to find it even more difficult. And I tell you what, the further up the field we go, yeah, it's definitely raining. I think Dave the Harp's getting the heaviest of it. Question is anyone going to go, right, okay, this rain's going to be hard, or anything like that, let's chuck it into the pits, get a set of tyres on. But I mean, as most of us know, with a little bit of light rain, you can still go round on slick tyres. I thought for a moment then Hulkenberg had a pit boost, power boost penalty, but Dave the Harp's finding he's got another chicane just before the swimming pool with a bit of bodywork there, and Dave's just had a moment in the second part of the swimming pool. I've got a feeling we may see him heading into the pits if he's had a bit of a moment. Now we've got a car facing the wrong way, and Dave the Harp is into the pits. Hulkenberg is into the pits. Sorry, go on, Ray. Is Duofin in the pits?
No, he was. He lost at turn. Oh, bloody hell! Turn 5.
Okay.
Who did you see? Was it Neil Tig?
It may have been. Casely has continued on. He may regret it though.
Oh, Heselton's lost it. He's lost it at turn. Where are you, Heselton?
To back. That's it. To back. That's it. To back. That is. I think he will be heading to the pit lane, or that could be race over for him. Farfba is in 7th place and he's just ahead of him. Duofin, he has lost it again.
I think he's got a puncture.
No, I don't. No, I don't, Ray. I don't. I think it's just simply a few of these drivers have thought, you know what, this rain's not that bad. I'm going to stay on the slick tyre. And what's happened is it hasn't worked. The slick tyre's not coping. Hulkenberg's jumped Dave the Harp through the pit stops, got himself up to what is 2nd place, but Casely's not that far ahead, and he is struggling on those slick tyres. So for anyone that's stayed out, it may seem like they've got a puncture or damage, but no. I mean, Heselton, he's going to struggle to get the car slowed down now because it is so wet at the Nouvelle chicane, and he can't get the power down either. And here comes Hulkenberg already into the tunnel. He's going to... Oh, Dave the Harp! No, it's not Dave the Harp. It's Neo Tig. No, it's not. It's Woolhouse. He's crashed it at Portier. So a little bit of weather has come along here and made things a little bit difficult for a few of these drivers. Although that could be an understatement. It's not a little bit difficult. It's very, very difficult.
But if these drivers are set to get their damage repaired, because I was trying to count how many drivers had bodywork, and now it's all back to normal as Buffer cuts the pit exit.
Okay, K-Slate is into the pits for what has got to be a set of intermediate tyres. James Hulkenberg now coming around the final corner. He's going to retake the lead. So although it's wet and none of the drivers will like it, Hulkenberg actually probably will at this moment in time, because that little change in the weather has just given him back the lead. But I tell you what, at turn 1 it actually looks nice and sunny. It's not until you get further around the track. If we look here on Dave the Harp, the track almost looks dry. Yes, there's spray coming up, but it doesn't look very wet. But as you get further around the track, it definitely is wetter. Richie Davey, he pitted earlier. He's about to jump Casely, as that was close coming out of the pits. So Richie Davey benefits from the wet conditions as well. Andy Russell's up to 5th place, so 4th and 5th, big gap between them. Heselton, as Ray said, has now got all of his bodywork back on the car, and Azamort's in 7th place, and I think he's still going round on... He's got damage. He has got damage on that car, and he's let Farfba through, who wasted no time getting past on that occasion. Duofin, I would guess he's gone to a set of intermediate tyres, because he's got bodywork back on his car now as well. And I tell you what, it almost looks like the sun's coming back out at the swimming pool. Could this just be a shower that's going to last 2 or 3 laps? Now, Woolhouse is in 11th place and he's got a car near him, but it's not for position, I don't think. But Richie Davey and Casely are very, very close. Sorry, Ray, I cut you off then.
No, I just said it could be. Joe Finn, Azamort in the pits. Neil Tiggs back in the pits.
I've got a feeling, you know, that it's drying up again already. The sun's definitely coming out a bit. I mean, this such difficult conditions for the drivers. I mean, it's said on many occasions you have to be on the right tyre at the right time, and this could be a fantastic example of that situation. Now, Hulkenberg, he, through the I tell you what, it's not dry near Lowe's. That's looking quite wet at Mirabeau. We'll see what it's like on the exit of the tunnel, because when Casely went down there on a set of slick tyres, you could tell it was really, really wet. On this occasion, we'll see what it's like for Hulkenberg, but he has gained an absolute enormous gap, and it's one that really it could do with. But I'll tell you where it is dry, Ray. In the tunnel. Yeah, in the tunnel. It is looking perhaps a little bit drier on the run down to the Nouvelle chicane. Let's have a look as Dave makes his way down. Oh, it's a difficult one, but it does look like perhaps the sun is trying to break through the clouds again. Richie Davey and Casely still close together. Have we got anyone else that's close and having a bit of a fight?
You have Richie Davey, Casely. Who else have we got? I'm just going through the field, sorry. I know you've said them, but have we lost a couple of drivers? We're down to 10 plus us. 10 including us.
It looks like we have lost Neotig and Farfba. Those two are now out of the race. It's definitely getting drier. Looking at this section of the circuit, it's definitely getting drier. Sorry, Neotig is still in the race. So Farfba is one that is definitely not going to complete the event.
I think Hulkenberg's just overtaken Hesselden. He won't like that.
You know what, Ray? I think you're right. Hulkenberg has lapped the field up to 5th place, because Hesselden is in 6th, and I tell you what, Hulkenberg will be chuckling to himself about that one. But I've got a feeling these guys are going to be heading into the pits again.
It's dry.
It really is drying, isn't it? Oh, Hesselden into the barrier.
Down the straight, it's dry. The start-finish straight, sorry. And at the hairpin, it's drying.
So, time then for the drivers to get themselves back to the pit lane. Ray, if you can, keep an eye on Hulkenberg, see if he goes for it. And Dave the Harp, I'm having a look at Casely trying to make a move on Richie Davey through the tunnel, manages to get ahead, but we know what Richie's like. He ain't going to give this up yet. Can he late brake into the chicane? No, he can't. Casely taking a nice defensive line.
Back. Dave the Harp should get in there and undercut him.
He is doing. Dave the Harp's in the pits.
He's done it.
And I tell you what, if we get another car going to the pits, it'll give you a good shot of the statue I was on about a little bit earlier. Casely did have a nice move, but it's definitely time for a dry car. So that little sprinkling of rain, it really has kind of mixed things up a bit. There's the statue, look, and Casely's nearly spun it in the barrier. Dave the Harp is still stationary. I think Hesselden may have pitted as well. Dave the Harp now on his way.
Richie Davies in the pits as well.
Yeah, Richie Davey and Casely both are in the pits, so you can get away first. Dum dum dum. We've got another car that's pitted. It's not for position though. That could be Woolhouse, and Casely's on the move. Is Richie Davey going to jump him? No, he's not. He's going to be stuck behind him as Casely gives the barrier a bit of a clip in. Now, how's Hulkenberg going to do? He has gone the extra lap on the intermediate tyre. His saving grace, though, is he's had an enormous gap. So he's had a bit of a buffer. Could it possibly be close when he makes his stop?
I think it'll depend on damage as well.
Possibly. I don't think James has had any damage, but he is now into the pits. So where is Dave the Harp? He's just coming out of the tunnel. I don't think it'll be close, to be honest. I really don't think it will be close. But if Dave wanted an opportunity, this is it now. He needs to push and push, but don't crap yourself at the same time. You don't want to do that. Trust me, viewers, you will get to an age where you'll cough and fart or shart at the same time. It's just a fact of life. Hulkenberg has been released. Dave's just coming around the final corner now. It's not very close, but It is closer than it was, and Hesselden is in the barrier again. I think it's fair to say Monaco is not a racetrack that he likes. And Hulkenberg will probably want to race him here every week.
And Richard Davies coming up behind Casey. Unless Casey's overtaken him, I don't know what.
No, Casey was ahead when they came out of the pits. So it's down to Richie Davey now to try and close up that gap, but he's into the barrier. That's going to cost him. And luckily, though, for him, Andy Russell is too far behind to capitalise. And Hesselden is in a situation where he's in 6th place, he's been lapped, he's in unfamiliar territory. And Neotig isn't that far behind. So if Neo can keep going, he may potentially catch Hesselden here. Woolhouse in 8th place, still circulating, and it's better to do so. You're going to score points over anyone that doesn't finish. And Duo Finn's race is over. He's sat in the pits, no longer able to continue. So our closest battle was Casey and Richie Davey, but I think it may begin to be, I was going to say Hulkenberg and Dave the Harp, because just ahead of Dave the Harp there's a yellow car, but it's Hesselden. So Dave the Harp needs to get a shift on now. What are Dave the Harp's and Hulkenberg's best and last lap times? Let's have a look. Dave the Harp was 3 seconds faster on the last lap.
The last. Ooh.
Now that could be because Hulkenberg pitted.
Yeah. Oh,
yep.
Somebody's hit the barrier.
I think it's Hesselden. He's clipping a few of them.
But I'm sure there was smoke coming from Hulkenberg's car up the top of the hill, so I don't know if he clipped it as well.
Possibly. Hesselden getting out of the way. Blue flag situation. That's how you deal with a blue flag situation. He may be in unfamiliar territory, but he knows what to do. And that's because he's led enough races and lapped enough people that he'd have been sat there going, come on, get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way. So when he's in a lap situation, he knows that he's got to just sit there and go, yeah, I'll get out of the way. Okay, Dave, it's up to you now. Go and challenge him. If Hulkenberg wins this race and Dave finishes second, Dave will still be leading the standings. But Dave won't want to finish second. He's going to want to go and take the win here. Now for the viewers, we're not even at half distance yet. So if you want to place any near half distance predictions of what the top 3 finishers will be here, feel free to do so. Okay.
Mr. Finn's commented, he said, game screwed up my race big time. When rain started, went into pit to change onto intermediates, but game did not change the tyres.
Oh.
After the second point was pit, he decided to retire.
Time to well, did he decide to retire, or did he decide to take a shortcut back to the pit lane, take off his helmet and bash it around a few of his mechanics' heads? Because I think that's what I'd have been doing. Like, come over here, my Mr. Engineer. I want to have a word with you. And you're right, Ray. Dave is getting closer. What were their lap times on their previous laps?
Let me see, 131 to 128.
So Dave is faster. Confirmation of that, yeah. Hulkenberg 131.2, Dave the Harper 128.7. Here's a question for you though, Ray. Hulkenberg was faster in qualifying. Is it possible that Hulkenberg has chucked on a set of the harder tyre? Dave the Hart chucked on a set of the softer tyre.
Oh, I don't know. That's one point to take into consideration.
It definitely is. Because if
how long could you get set us off on this track?
I tell you what,
we're expecting some rain in the next 30 minutes, so try and push as hard as you can now and get ready to make a call on the tyres.
I don't know if anybody else just heard that, but I mentioned earlier on about it. I thought it was that during F1. Hulkenberg's in the barrier. He's just hit the barrier. I was going to say, when we was doing F1, it'd be nice if the engineer spoke to us on occasions, but I've just heard it. I hope you did as well, Ray. An engineer has just come over my radio and said, we're expecting rain in 30 minutes. The thing is, though, there's 22 laps left of this race. You're looking at 1.5 minutes per lap. So, someone do the maths for us. Will it rain before the end of the race?
22 seconds plus. Sorry about that.
Now, looking at the previous lap times, Hulkenberg managed to do a 129.4. Dave the Harp did a 129.4. But with Hulkenberg having his little bit of a mistake, that's allowed Dave the Harp to really close in on him now. And if we've heard that it could rain in half an hour's time, that means the drivers have probably heard it could rain in half an hour's time. Now, Duofin, if you're listening, if you could let us know if you did some soft tyre running, how long the soft tyres would last for these guys, because let's face it, if you're running the soft tyres, we know they'll last about 40 laps. So if you've got an idea of how long the soft tyres would last, feel free to let us know, because that could give us an idea if these guys are on two different compounds. But either way, Hulkenberg is now under pressure. And it's time for everybody to sing the Queen song, Under Pressure. And I don't know the rest of it. Anyway, I'm sure Ray does.
Pushing down on me.
Me pushing down on you, no matter what.
That's what I sang to your brother. I just want to see if he's still watching. Dave
the Harp. Yeah, into the barrier. I tell you what, Richie Davies closing in on Casely again. You know, need to keep an eye on that one. And I tell you what, I just had going through my mind a moment ago was. We've got another battle. I mentioned it earlier on. Could Neotig catch Hesselden? He is catching Hesselden. Yeah. Okay, picture the under pressure. Putting your back out. Putting your back out. Anyway, enough for the songs. Enough for the songs. Ray and Steve have a very special relationship.
Have you spotted something?
Have I spotted something?
Yeah. Go through the drivers and see if you spot what I see.
Well, let's see. We've got Hulkenberg in first, Dave the Harp in second, Casely in third, Richie Davey in fourth, Andy Russell in fifth, Hesselden in sixth, with Neotig right behind him, Woolhouse in eighth, and that's it. So
Neotig's got the fastest lap of the race.
A 128.408
to a
128.586 from Dave the Harp. You know what, Ray? You're right. Well spotted. Neotig has got the fastest lap of the race, and no wonder he's catching Hesselden. He's not only catching Hesselden, he's all over the back of him now. He's going to have the bit between his teeth. Pronounce that right before Ray starts thinking I'm saying something else. You dirty boy. But yeah, Neotig, he's in position to attack Hesselden here. So
he must have the softs on.
Quite possibly, or I mean, it could be that this is just simply a race that Hesselden is not a fan of. Side by side, Neotig's ahead. Sorry to cut you off a bit there, Ray, but Neotig was going for the move. You say Hesselden's only got one rear light? Yeah. You're right, he has. There's a lot of damage on that car, and there's a lot of bodywork here. Whose is that? Woolhouse is in the pits with what looks like fresh bodywork, so it's probably his. Now Hulkenberg, he's opened up the gap to Dave the Harp. Either that or Dave the Harp's dropped off a little bit. Dave the Harp's had a bit of a poor lap. It was only a 130. Ooh. Time for the tension to grow. Oh, Dave's clipping barriers. Maybe he's got to that point where he pushed and closed up and made a couple of mistakes, and the concentration has gone. Time to get that focus back in. Now, are Casely and Richie Davey close? No, because Richie Davey is in the pits for a stop. Neotig pulling away from Hesselden, who's sideways and drifting down towards Lowe's. I've got a feeling Hesselden may not. Well, it's nicely done around the corner. I'm not sure that's exactly how we're seeing it.
I think he's got bad lag.
Yeah, I think he's got bad lag as well, and I think we could be seeing, unfortunately, name disappearing. There's so much smoke down near Portier, it almost looks like one of the buildings is on fire. Andy Russell here, I think he's just been lapped by K-Slay, so Andy just needs to be a little bit careful. Go on, Ray, what have you spotted?
It's back up with Hulkenberg. What's going on?
I wonder if Hulkenberg's had a bit of a messy lap there. Quite possibly. See what
that barrier sound there?
Oh yeah, what's Hulkenberg's lap time? A 1:31.6. Hulkenberg's had a bit of a messy lap there. That's bringing Dave the Hart back in. And I tell you what, Ray, I'm just looking at the road. I'm looking at the tarmac. It's looking like it's getting a bit duller, a bit darker. Now that guy in whoever hacked into our radio said it could rain in 30 minutes time. I've got a feeling it could rain a bit sooner than that. My concern would be that if it's going to rain, is it going to be a full-on downpour that's going to last a long time, or is it going to be another short, sharp shower? Is it going to rain at all?
Could this help the soft tyres get to the end with the cooler temperatures?
Cooler temperatures definitely could. I mean, I did ask Geoffin if he was still watching, if he could let us know whether sort of an idea of how long perhaps soft tyres will last, if he knows. I don't know if he's been able to comment on that, but
yeah, he has. What is it? He lost about 70 to 80% of downforce from what he had in practice before free race. Practice was doing a 129s, but in race was struggling to get to 33, so lost 45 seconds of that.
Ooh, that is going to hurt your race pace no matter what you do. Now I do know, the sound of someone hitting a barrier hard somewhere. I do know that Dave the Hart, for example, at a previous event, I can't remember exactly which one it was saying that he was struggling for straight line speed when he should have been doing 180 mile an hour. He was only getting about 160. Now he put it down to damage. He received damage that effectively killed his top end speed, and when he returned to the pits and did a pit stop and fixed the damage, it didn't fix that. So maybe perhaps some of the collisions in the opening lap caused some radiator damage or some internal damage that the pit crew couldn't repair, that has cost some top end speed, and that could equate to a bit of lap time. But if he's lost downforce as well, yeah, around this track you really don't want to be losing downforce. And Hulkenberg's pushing hard now to open this gap up to Dave the Hart, and I don't blame him, because if there's any possibility of the weather changing again here in Monaco... Oh, he's lost it, he's into the barrier. I said he was pushing hard, pushing a little too hard on that occasion maybe, but yeah, push hard to try and open up a gap in case the weather does change. But you've got to find that balance between pushing hard and getting around the lap. Now K-Slay in third place. He's got a car behind him, but that's not for position, that's a lapped car.
Neil Tiggs in the pits. Is he changing his tyres?
Quite possibly.
It didn't look as if he had any damage.
I tell you what, K-Slay looks like he's struggling a little bit here. The car behind him is a lap down, but he's looking faster at the moment. And I tell you what, if I was K-Slay, I'd be tempted to let that car go. Get him out of the way. No, K-Slay's going for the pits. That's a pit stop then.
Look at Heselton. What the hell?
Yeah.
Is that a barrier he's not hit? Somebody's hit it hard.
Well, he's definitely not... Well, what's the word? He hasn't successfully kept the bodywork on the car today. Oh, but there's definitely a bit of lag going on for him as well on our view. So for him, he probably won't care what his car looks like or what position he ends up in as long as he gets to the end. Now with K-Slay pitting, that's put Richie Davey up to third place. But if K-Slay's just made a stop, I would guess, oh no, it's not been 30 minutes, Ray. Because have a look at what's appearing on your screen. And for K-Slay, who was just this second pitted, that could ruin his position. Dave the Harp's in first. Hulkenberg, he's wasted no time. He's in the pits. But has he timed it right or has he timed it wrong? Has he gone in there for slick tyres or has he gone in there for intermediates?
I won't have a clue.
Neither will we.
It's not like F1, you can zoom round the car and see what the tyre walls are like. You've got to wait.
Oh, Hesselden. Yeah, it's Hesselden in the pits. I guess that's for a set of new tyres. I would just hope that for Hulkenberg's sake, it's a set of intermediate tyres he's popped on that car. He timed it, he got his pit stop, what appeared to be absolutely bang on earlier on. For Casely though, he literally pitted, came out the pits, then it began to rain, and if he's got slick tyres on, he's going to be making another stop. He saw how much time he lost earlier on when he tried to stay on the slick tyres, and it did not work for him. So is he going to be heading back into the pits?
Dave the Harp lost the rear end, hit the barrier there. I have a question for Mr. Brooks. How hard to drive these cars? No, they're very easy to drive. You've lost out, Mr. Brooks.
Casely has gone back into the pits. Richie Davey has also pitted as well. Dave the Harp, he's got to send it to the pits. My comment to Dave the Harp's lost it. He's crashed it at Rascasse.
No.
He's definitely going to be taking it to the pit lane now. He probably... and he's crashed it again into the pits. Giving us a good close-up of the statue. Where's Hulkenberg? This is going to give Hulkenberg another enormous lead. But we've got to remember what happened earlier on. Go on, Ray, what have you spotted?
Just I heard a big crash on
through. I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I tell you what, Richie Davies benefited here. Hulkenberg's coming around the final corner now. Dave the Harp stationary in the pit, so Hulkenberg's benefited here. But we've got to remember what happened earlier on. It was a short, sharp shower earlier on today. If it's a similar situation here, then the weather could change just as quick again. Or is this weather here to stay? We just don't know.
And I would like to say good evening to Mr. Bell. He's online.
Okay, in answer to... Hello, Mr. Bell. In answer to Mr. Brooks's comment, are these cars difficult to drive? No, but around Monaco, when it's changeable conditions like this, hell yes. Let's put it this way. Hesselden is a fantastic driver. He's in 5th place, and he's a lap down. Now, Richie Davies in 3rd. He's got a car all over the back of him. But again, that's not a car for position. I think it's Neotig who may just have had a bit of a spin. He has. He's lost the rear end of the car. He's actually been looking very, very quick of late as Neotig. He's been handling the pace around Monaco quite comfortably. Now, Ray, if you can...
Yes.
Sorry, go on.
He's got the fastest lap of the race, so he knows how to do it. He's just putting it together constantly.
Yeah. Also, the opening laps, they were so busy, so hectic. A bit of a car park at one point. It cost anyone some lap time. But Ray, if you could find, go on to Hulkenberg, find a marker, and see if we can get a gap between himself and Dave the Harp, because the gap was only about 2 seconds, 2 to 3 seconds maybe, when Hulkenberg pitted, and I must admit,
8 to 9.
8 to 9 seconds. I tell you, Hulkenberg called that pit stop absolutely. Oh no, he's losing it! He's lost it! Into Massenet, sideways into the barrier. That's going to give Dave the Harp a bit of hope, although he won't know it yet. He won't know it until he sees it on his delta time that the gap's come down a little bit. But yeah, Hulkenberg called that pit stop bang on.
Yeah, Boy Racer, we don't know what the guys are driving with. They could be having traction control and ABS. We won't know.
That is very, very true. I tell you what, that gap between Dave and Hulkenberg has come down massively. But I wouldn't be surprised if this weather changes for the better again, I don't think it's got as wet as it did earlier.
I've got a bone to pick.
You've got a bone. You've got a bone. I hope it's not growing. I'm sure I just heard your dog bark as well. You mentioned bone, the dog barks.
With Mr. Brooks. Where's Manvite? I would have won tomorrow. I think it is tomorrow, is it?
I don't know.
I'm waiting for an answer, Dave.
I'm trying to think. I'm sure. Oh, the go-karting. Yeah, you know what to do tomorrow, Kev. We're gonna nickname you Crash Bandikev.
That was a good game.
I only ever played it once. It was quite addictive, I will admit. But I tell you what, it almost looks like the sun's coming back out here, Ray. The rain is still falling, but the track's definitely not got as wet as it did earlier on. And I think we're going back to drier conditions. It looks like for...
Dave's getting closer.
He is.
If it doesn't cut the barrier, banister. That's what you go down the stairs on.
When Dave's been keeping it out of the walls, he has been catching. I've got a feeling we're going to see Hulkenberg into the pits at the end of this lap, you know. And to be honest, Dave's got to follow him because I think the weather's changing. Yeah, I mean, looking at the exit of the tunnel, it's looking nice and sunny again here. Yeah, it's definitely time to change back. Hulkenberg called the pit stop right earlier on. I would doubt very much he's going to continue on for another lap.
Heselton's in the pits. He's coming out there now.
I reckon that'll be for a set of slicks. But what do you think he's going to try?
He's got to try something. Hulk, come on.
Dave the Harp's right up his arse. Hulkenberg's carried on. Dave's pitted. Oh, Hulkenberg, you've just thrown away the lead of the race, my friend. Unless Hulkenberg was on the dry tyre. I doubt very much he'd have been on the dry tyre. Pitting when he did, no. He wouldn't have been able to keep control. I think Hulkenberg's just thrown away the lead of this race. Where's third place? Richie Davey coming out of the tunnel now. Caseley's just entering the tunnel. Time for these guys to get back into the pits. It's dry weather. It's dry tyre conditions now for these guys. No real argument about it. I do think Hulkenberg's just thrown away the race here. I can't. I can't understand. I must admit, I can't understand why he would have thought about continuing on. Okay, car ahead of Richie into the pits. Richie into the pits and spins it. Caseley, is he going to pit as well? Really, he has to. Yep. I mean, the wet weather, it's really cost Caseley. Pitted and then had to pit again for wet tyres. Andy Russell is in the pits. Neotig's in the pits. Hesselden, he's up to 5th place. So Hesselden pitting the lap earlier, putting the slick tyres on, has helped him. Oh, Hulkenberg, he's sliding all over the place. I think he knows he's made a bit of a balls up on this one. And into the pits he goes.
Mr. Brooks, I won't get a train, I'll fly my helicopter down. Come on, Dave the Hut.
I've got a comment to come back with on that one. But I didn't realise that radio-controlled helicopters could carry people.
I'm only a lanky scout thing. Anything can carry me.
Hulkenberg's coming out of the pits and Dave the Harp is ahead. And there you go, Hulkenberg, you really should have pitted the lap before. Benefit for Hulkenberg though, he has got slightly fresher tyres, but he's just cost himself a clear lead in this race. Richie Davey still in 3rd place. Car behind him is not 4th position. They're a lap down. Now, is that Neotig or is that Woolhouse? Let's have a look.
Dave's still clipping the barriers.
Oh, I think Neotig's just had a crash. He has at the Nouveau Chicane. Okay, so we've got Richie Davey in 4th place, Andy Russell behind him in 6th place, Neotig behind him in 7th place, and then Caseley behind him in 4th place. So this could get all a bit way too much confusing. Now, I suppose for Richie Davey, he has got a good friend of his behind him on the track, so if Casely begins to catch up, he may be able to help him out a little bit there. But at the moment, the gap should be big enough that he doesn't have to worry about it. But it is now time for these two to not hit the barriers. He's really clouted that one. I tell you what, I know there's a lot of money spent in Monaco, but I doubt they would have expected to be spending as much as they will have to on the barriers around here. But it's time for these two to really get down to business. You've got a dry track, you've got fresh tyres. It's time to work out who's going to win the race as Dave's gone deep into turn one. That's going to give Hulkenberg a run. He knows he could have half a chance here.
He's got to make it like a light load round these corners. Oh no, he's hit the barrier. He's hit the... And so's Hulkenberg. They're having wee touches of the barrier. And that one wee touch could end it for them.
It really could. I mean, that's the thing, you touch the barrier at the wrong place, the wrong point of your car, you'd end up facing the wrong way. I mean, we've seen Hulkenberg in previous races just follow drivers until the optimum moment to make that pass. And this is a circuit where he would benefit from doing that here, but it's been such an up and down race that...
Casely's on the back of Richard Davey. He's good.
No, he's not. No, it's a back marker. Oh, Hulkenberg, he spun it! He spun it at the Nouveau chicane! Oh... So I don't know, Ray, you lead me false information and I go and miss Hulkenberg spinning it. I don't know.
Somebody else is it.
Well,
look, Hesselden's car. What the hell?
I tell you what I'd rather look at. That's the gap now between Dave the Harp and Hulkenberg, because it's gone from being about 0.2 of a second to 3 seconds. Hulkenberg, I don't know exactly what happened there, but you threw away the race pitting a lap later than you needed to. Now you've got 8 laps to try and catch him up and get past him. Richie Davies comfortable in third. Casely is in fourth, managed to get ahead of the back marker by the looks of things, so that should be Andy Russell that's behind him. Hesselden's car, you said you wanted to have a look at it. It's got the bodywork on, just, but he has got himself up to fifth place.
Into the barriers quite a bit.
He's in. Well, we've seen a lot of into the barriers, but it's not cost him a huge amount of time. But I think Casely may be beginning to close that gap up now. You can see another car ahead of him. Oh, there's a car behind him. He's spun it. I think that might be Neotig. It is. Raskas claims another victim. And Azamort, he's now out of the race as well. I'm not sure exactly at what point his retirement came, but he is now out of this event. Andy Russell is in 6th place. And let's see, who is that is... That must be Dave the Harp. No, it's not. Okay, so Andy Russell's in 6th place and he's got a car ahead of him, and I haven't got a clue who it is. Well, Hulkenberg's closed that gap in already. Within 1 lap, he's closed it down a little bit. Let's have a look at what their previous laps were. Hulkenberg a 28.8, Dave the Harp a 29.9. Is he in? You're right, yeah. It is Richie Davies that's just ahead of Andy Russell, as I think Andy Russell's just clipped the barrier, and we can see Casely beginning to close up now. It could get close between Casely and Richie fairly soon, but the bit everyone wants to see is this, because Hulkenberg, he's pulled that gap from 3 seconds down to about 1 second now. He's absolutely been on it this last lap and a half since he made the mistake. He's not going to be wanting to make any more. I'll tell you what I'd like to see though, Ray, a little bit more rain before the end of this race.
I want to see what the minute weatherman says.
Well, it surprised me when he piped up a little earlier. It's not often that the engineers come and say anything. He didn't say anything about the first lot of rain, and he was out a bit on his timing for the second lot of rain. That gap has opened up from Dave the Harp to Hulkenberg a little bit, but Hulkenberg has just hit the barrier after David just hit it. pressure's on now, guys. One more corner, 6 more laps. Who's going to win it? Now, Richie Davey.
Andy Russell needs to get out the way.
Richie's in the barrier! And Andy Russell, you're right, he does kind of need to get out of the way for Casely here. But Richie's having a bit of a mare of a lap. Andy Russell does get out of the way. That's going to free up Casely to attack him. If he can. I'm wondering if Richie's perhaps struggling a little bit on the tyres now. But Casely's looking very, very strong. He wants his 3rd place back. I mean, really, he only lost 3rd place because of that first...
Hulkenberg's on the back of Dave the Harp. Dave the Harp's at the barrier, so Hulkenberg's followed him.
Story of the day, barrier bashing at Monaco.
Oh, Richard Davies said something. He's lost. Casely's in 3rd and Richard Davies lost his rear bodywork.
So Richie, yeah, he's it. He has hit the barrier very, very hard somewhere. That does put Casely back up to 3rd place. So let's focus then on 1st and 2nd place. Dave the Harp and Hulkenberg. Ray, if you can keep an eye on whatever may be happening elsewhere. There's Richie Davies' bodywork possibly. Just been sent flying into the crowd at the swimming pool. Let's hope it landed in the swimming pool. Well, Hulkenberg, he's definitely getting close, but every time he gets close, something happens that opens up the gap again.
Richie's got to have suspension damage. He's not going in a straight line.
Ooh, a bit more barrier bashing going on here from Dave. The pressure's on. I mean... Oh, someone's just hit a wall really, really hard. Just heard that in my ears. I'm guessing it was down at Tabac. Hulkenberg's hit the barrier. He's lost a bit more time. I mentioned it. Every time he gets close, something happens and the gap opens up.
Richie's got some amount of damage because Casely's just pulled away.
Now, I think the gap is too big for Casely to get himself involved in this battle up at the front.
Well, he's got the fastest lap time.
He's managed to get it down to a 1:28.2. Is he going to improve on it on this lap as well? The possibility's there. He's got a nice clear track. Nope. He can't improve, but the gap between himself and Hulkenberg, you can see how big that gap is.
Too big.
It's enormous.
Yeah.
Hulkenberg's
got a wobbly wheel, pad. Yeah, I've seen that. Mr. Bell letting us know. Richie's in the pits.
Now, is Richie going to lose a position to Hesselden? Because Hesselden, he's had an absolute shocker of a race so far, but he has managed to get himself back up to 5th place. Now, for Hulkenberg and Dave the Harp, I mean, this is, to a degree, a lot of this race has all been about who can cope with the pressure. And the answer is neither of them. As one hits the barrier and the other leaves his rear end there. But it does mean that the gap's closed in again. So, it's not over. Right, Hulkenberg, get close, stay close, don't hit the wall. Let Dave the Harp do it and overtake him. Oh, he's really, really close now. Now, last time he was there, Dave has just clipped the barrier. But last time Hulkenberg was this close, he had a bit of a moment at the Nouvelle Chicane. He's not going to want to do it there this time. I mean, it could be that being in the dirty air is just making it very, very difficult. Dave taking a defensive line could compromise his exit, but I think Hulkenberg may have a power boost penalty. No, he's got away with it. It looked like
I thought he was going to cut the exit barrier there. He was close.
Oh, Dave's having a little bit of a wiggle under braking. The pressure's on. I mean, these guys, they're fast on different parts of the track, suggesting very different setups. And Dave's in the pits! What? 4 laps to go and you're pitting?
What?
Is anybody else as surprised as I am? Because I bet Hulkenberg's surprised. That's got to be splash and dash for fuel. I thought Hulkenberg had thrown away the win earlier on when he didn't pit when Dave did, but it looks like Dave has thrown away the win, not putting in enough fuel.
And Peter Bell is like, Mr. Bell's like, what the F?
Yeah, exactly. What
there,
the...
It's past the watershed. Fuck.
Yeah, I
can't get in trouble tomorrow.
I can't believe what I've just seen there. Dave the Hart pitting. I mean, no. I mean,
that's got to be the fuel.
It has to have been fuel.
You're right. That's got to be fuel. There's no way you do a tyre change 4 laps to go.
No, you wouldn't. Well, I mean that's baffled us. The thing is, though, it's put Hulkenberg in a situation now where if he's not on the soft tyres, he could, if he wanted, pit, but it's not worth it. He's got a nice healthy lead now, big chunk of bodywork in the middle of the road, and it's not his, so we won't care about that. And he's not going to pit. He knows all he's got to do now is take his time and get to the end. But what'll be interesting?
He's struggling to keep out the barriers. He's turn 18, he hit the barrier on the exit.
Yeah,
so.
and Anthony knows. I mean, maybe for Dave, he felt his tyres were going off, and were going off so much he wouldn't get to the end. But I would have to say it would have had to have been for fuel, because he's not going to gain enough time now on a new set of tyres to catch up Hulkenberg, because the gap's going to be absolutely enormous. I mean, Hulkenberg's just gone through lows, and Dave is just getting 2 lows. So Dave would need Hulkenberg to be a good 10 seconds off his pace for these last 2 laps. We may see Dave popping in a new fastest lap of the race, but I mean, I'm trying to think, when was it they pitted? When did that? It must have been about a lap with 10 or 11 laps to go. So maybe Dave just felt that the cliff was going to be fallen off. I mean, look, I tell you what though, looking at the sector times on this lap, Dave the Hart 25.4, Hulkenberg 27.4, sector 2 32.7, 33.2. It'd be interesting to see what the gap is. I mean, Dave was actually 3 seconds faster on the previous lap. Hulkenberg's was a 1:33. He's just crossed the line now. He's just done a 1:34. What's Dave going to do? A 1:29. Dave's 5 seconds a lap faster.
Oh, and he's got a car ahead of him that's crashed, and I think that gave them a loss of concentration because he hit the barrier. Can't get out of the way. Come on, I've got a race to come on. Sorry. Who was that?
I think that was Richie Davey. The gap between Dave and Hulkenberg is 7 seconds. I don't think he's got enough track to make it up. It was perhaps a gamble that maybe he knew something we didn't. If there was another lap, maybe it would have worked. But
could Hulkenberg was out because he's not got enough fuel?
No, I can't see Hulkenberg running out of fuel in this one. You watch, he'll go run out of fuel now. We can't even see Dave. Oh, there, we've just seen Dave Harp in the background. I think Hulkenberg is safe on this one, unless he goes and bins it now, which you really don't want to do. Quick look at the current standings. Only 6 finishers from 11 that started. Well, Hulkenberg has only got 1 corner to go, and he's going to take victory here in Monaco. He's going to close up that gap to Dave in the standings. A very, very difficult race, but victory for James it'll be. Dave the Hart will finish second place. He did close up that gap by a big, big way, just not enough. I mean, so close actually that he's right behind him now. Look, he's there. That's how close it basically was over the finish line. And I tell you what, There is more rain. It's saying that Richie Davies in third place there, but I don't think he is. I think it's Kay Slay that was third place. A very interesting race for him. It's been a very, very tricky race for the drivers. One thing I will say is it wasn't meant to rain 3 times in the race. It wasn't meant to do that. So yeah, interesting weather for the drivers here this evening. Very, very difficult. They'll be glad that this bit of rain has come right at the end. But I do believe it is third place for Kay Slay. Yes, it was. So Richie Davey was in 4th place. Hesselden is in 5th place. It's not even letting me see Richie Davey at the moment. But I mean, Ray, what do you make of Hesselden's race here? He's been absolutely outstanding at every racetrack. He comes to Monaco, and it's like, I don't know, it's like he's been on too much beers today.
Or it could be the barriers are too close to the white line, where you can get your 2 wheels over, half your car over, and be fine. You can't get any wheels over, so it could be that. It could be just don't like your track. I don't like the track. I've tried racing it and I was utter rubbish.
I mean, that's the thing with Monaco. Your drivers either love it or hate it. There isn't really a middle ground. Apart from those who hate it, who then become to love it. But it doesn't take long to go from hating it to love it. But Hesselden is going to cross the line in 5th place. He'll be disappointed about how far off the lead he is, but I think he'll be fairly pleased with 5th place. It does say 4th there, but Richie Davey did cross the line in 4th place. Neotig, it'll be 6th place. Yeah, Richie Davey has he's left the lobby, but he did cross the line in 4th place. So Neotig, it will be 6th place for him. Sorry, go on, Ray.
No, I thought, because Neotig was slow, but I thought he'd ran out of fuel, but he's not. He's going.
No. I mean, it's a very interesting race as well for Neotig, because a few incidents early on, but he had some phenomenal pace throughout that race. I think that was one where he ran soft tyres a lot. Perhaps could have ended a hell of a lot better for him, but 6th place it'll be. And I must admit, if I'm ever going to rant about anything with project cars, it's that they have the standings sorted out properly when the drivers are crossing the line, because there is nothing more frustrating than having to try and work that out, because it messes it all up. But anyway, 6th place for Neotig, the last of the finishers. Now, I'll tell you what, Ray, last week we didn't have time for a podium interview, so would you like to do the honours and invite Hulkenberg, Dave the Harp and Kay Slay in for a quick chat about their race?
I will do. Dave the Harp, James Hulkenberg, Kay Slay.
For any of the viewers, if you have a question you would like us to ask the drivers, feel free to comment. But don't worry, we're already going to be asking Dave the Harp what the F he was doing. So don't worry about that one. Don't worry about that one. Now, while we're waiting for those drivers to join us, I'll just have a quick look at where the next event will be. Round 9. Oh, completely different style of racetrack. Next Friday, 9 PM, 35 laps of the Willow Springs International Circuit. So we're going to go from a track that is lined with barriers to a track that is lined with desert. And I must admit, Willow Springs is a track I hate. I absolutely hate that track. Okay, Dave.
Because it sucks you off?
No, it's the corners. I really don't like the corners around that track. It's a horrible, horrible racetrack. But Dave the Harp has joined us. James Hulkenberg has also joined us, and hopefully Kay Slay will join us very quickly as well. But if you two would like to just make sure that you've got your microphone set to allow to be shared for us, please, and we'll fire a few questions at you. We'll just hang on a moment.
If you can turn your TV down, you've got a wee bit of echo in it.
I haven't got my TV on, mate.
You haven't got your TV on? How did you drive?
Where's the echo coming from?
It could be from Hulkenberg. His head's swollen so much in his helmet. His helmet's grown and created an echo. We are still waiting for Casey, but while we wait for him...
No, he's here. He's here.
Is he here? Okay, my apologies. Are you there, Kendall?
Hello.
I can barely hear you. If you can make sure you've got your microphone set to allow to be shared and turned up nice and loud, and we'll get on to Hulkenberg. Well, Hulkenberg, you won at Monaco. Does it really matter what happened in the race?
Thank God that's over.
I reckon that was quite an easy one for you. Would you agree? I told you Kendall wasn't in yet. Kendall's only just joined. Right, we'll get on to Kendall in a moment. So come on, that was an easy one for you, wasn't it?
No. I've got to say, I felt confident-ish going into the race, because Hesselden messaged me saying, my steering wheel's just broken. I thought, we're in for a treat here. So I thought, I've got to maximise on these points.
Well, Hesselden's wheel being broken, that would explain a lot of what happened in his race.
Yeah. I mean, I think even me and Hesselden, we had a bit of a moment. I came out of pit lane and he was coming down start-finish, and we almost had a massive disaster down at the turn 1, but luckily he took avoiding action, because unfortunately when you're coming out of the pit lane, the mini-map, it shrinks to a point where you can't see what's coming down the main start-finish.
It's so that you don't crap yourself.
Well, exactly. It'd be helpful if you could have the full track map so you can see who's coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Dave's pace. We had a bit of practice before, and he were quicker in the practice, and then we did qualifying, and I thought, actually, I'm feeling a bit confident here. And then in the race, he just came alive, didn't he?
Well, I mean, in qualifying, pole position for yourself, so got to be happy with that. When it came to the weather changing, you called that first pit stop absolutely spot on, gained a huge amount of time. The second, you called the pit stop absolutely spot on again, but you didn't pit to put the dry tyre back on. You effectively gifted him the lead.
Yeah, as soon as I went round, I thought, it's drying up, but it's still blobbing a fair bit on my camera. I'll think I'll risk it for another lap. And then I looked in my mirror just as I was coming round Sandivot, and he were in, and I literally in my crash helmet, I was swearing at myself. I was like, you utter head.
Yeah. You also had a bit of a spin after the pit stop. You caught him up and you had a spin down at Nouvelle Chicane. What happened?
Well, I just thought, you know, balls to the wall really. Let's go for it. Let's try and put him under some pressure, and let's see if he can crack. And unfortunately, I cracked.
Yes, you did.
Then once again, even though I spun round, I were gaining again. So I thought, actually, you know what? I haven't damaged my tyres too much. I'm going to keep at this.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay, well done. We could ask you one more question, but I'm not going to, because we've got to ask it. Dave, all of the viewers want to know this, but I have to put it in. Actually, we're past the watershed. What the fuck were you doing pitting 4 laps from the end?
Fuel. I don't believe they ran out of fuel. It must have been guzzling. I put 40.5 litres in. 40.5 laps worth. I thought it normally gets you to the end, and it just never. Lap 38, the tank was empty. 39.
So it was for fuel then. It was for fuel. But I tell you what, you caught him up. By the time you both crossed the line, I think the gap was only 4 seconds. So
yeah,
did you three? So did you think you was going to get him on that last lap?
Only if he made a mistake.
Which he had done already in the race, so it was possible.
Yeah, and I seen the time coming down. I thought he's just cruising to get us to the line, no mistakes, and just wasn't enough. My first pit stop was totally ruined as well, so that didn't help.
How did what happened in the pit stop there then?
It was set up to put half a tank worth of fuel in. So I pressed the X button and then I realised, shit, it's going to fuel it. So I had to do it again. I was pressing buttons like mad and it went anyway and panicked.
Well, we did notice that James pulled out quite a gap on you on that first stop, but it was a fantastic race between yourselves. Quite a few attempted overtakes, getting close on a number of occasions. Was there any part of that race where you thought, you know what, I got this in the bag, or I could have?
Well, I thought, yeah, the last stint when I pitted and I got in front. And I thought, this is it, he's not going to get past me, there's no way past.
Yeah.
But then I looked at my fuel gauge and I thought, shit.
he is getting past, Well, unlucky on that one. Is a very interesting race, Move on to K-Slay. Okay, if you can just make sure that you've got your microphone set to allow to be shared for us, please, and your microphone turned up nice and loud. And make sure that we can... Okay, nice one. Right, okay. So much happened in your race. You're having an absolute stormer early on. I think it was up in third place, all looking fairly nice and comfortable and well. But if there was anyone that got screwed over in the pit stops, it was yourself. When that second splash of rain came around, you're on a dry track, on dry tyres, you pitted for a new set of dry tyres, you pull out the pits, it pisses it down. So what was you thinking at that point?
Oh mate, it was an absolute nightmare. I got hit by a back marker and I had suspension damage, which is why I had to pit. And then literally the lap later, the rain came.
Now,
and then I ran out of fuel towards the end as well, like Dave. I had to pit on lap 40.
Oh, bloody hell. Well, we didn't spot that, so WTF to that as well. I was going to say, the first stint, or the first splash of rain, right? James, Dave, a few others, they went for the pits. You decided to continue on for another lap. At what point on that lap did you realise, oh crap, I should have pitted?
Turn 1.
Yeah. The rest of the lap did look a little bit tricky after that.
Yeah.
But an interesting race. I mean, you had some phenomenal pace towards the end to catch. Yeah, fastest lap. Caught up Richie Davey. I think he had a bit of a crash, didn't he? Which allowed you to get through.
Right in front of me actually.
Well, unfortunate one for him, but a good one for you. Okay, Hulkenberg. Actually, before we do, Ray, have we had any questions come through from the viewers?
No, we haven't.
Okay, thanks viewers, you're all boring. Only messing. Hulkenberg, there's only 2 races to go. The gap between yourself and Dave the Harp, I think, is only 4 points. The next race is at Willow Springs.
Yep.
Confident? Not confident?
Well,
gonna tell Dave that it's a 35 lap race and 34.5 laps worth of fuel will get you to the end?
Well, I think today's race was all about car choice. With the car that I drive, it seems to be a bit it seems to be more kinder on fuel, whereas Dave's car seems to be more kinder on tyres, because during that race I had to run the hard tyre to get it to go that long on the stints, whereas Dave was running the soft tyres and I could only get 7 laps out of my softs. So if it's coming to less of a tight twisty circuit, I think it's game on for the championship now. It would have been almost impossible if Dave had won today, and I've got to say he were absolutely fantastic today.
Well, he may have been, but that's kind of a double. It's a double negative. That it's like, yeah, well done, Dave. You drove really, really well. but you finished second. Okay, next up for the PCF is round 9, which will be for 35 laps of the Willow Springs International Circuit. That'll be next Friday. Round 10 will be for 10 laps of the Circuit de la Sarthe. So there is a chance that the championship will be decided at the racetrack these cars were designed for. So you have to join us for the final 2 rounds of the Front Row Racing PCF, because I'm sure they'll be just as exciting as today's race has been. Next up on the Front Row Racing YouTube channel will be on Sunday evening at 8:30 p.m. for the PCS League. That'll be, I think it's round 7, because they're a round behind, for X amount of laps, I can't remember how many, around the Donington National Circuit.
Rain is expected in the next 30 minutes.
And everyone's just heard that rain is expected in the next 30 minutes. Yeah, Donington National for 31 laps on Sunday. My only final comment is to let the drivers know that it wasn't intended for it to rain twice during that race. It's just the way it happened. But anyway, that's all from us this evening. Thank you to all of the viewers. Thank you to all of the drivers for taking part. Well done to our podium sitters. Thank you very much, Ray, for joining me in the commentary box.
No problem, as always.
And I've been from Row Racing DP. We've been from Row Racing. This has been the PCF, the Project Cars Fridays League, and we shall see you all again soon.
See you later.
Good night.